This film is about our 2-week adventure exploring one small corner of British Columbia in Canada. Canada is a massive place for anyone living in the UK. It's actually 41 times bigger than the British Isles. Our explorations led us to Bella Coola in the heart of the Great Bear Rainforest, which is an area about the same size as Scotland. Ahead of us was a 1,200-mile return journey.
After a 9-hour flight from Manchester to Vancouver, we picked up our hire car and drove to Pemberton, which took about 3 hours. We then spent the next couple of days cycling around the area.
After a really epic 20-hour journey from Manchester to Vancouver and then on to here where we are now in Pemberton, British Columbia, we finally arrived last night about 9 o'clock. And today is the 1st of September and it's our first morning in Canada. And we're here in Pemberton staying in a lovely chalet, and this is the chalet's dog. We just set off from home, our base. We've got a map now which is on the camera of the whole area with all the trails on. There's a big event on today, but there's loads of cyclists everywhere. There's a thing where you cycle, run and paraglide down the mountain, and we're going up that way to have a look at see what's going on. It's this way now. We've set off on our first bike ride and we're cycling through the woods along this huge river which is full of glacial meltwater. We're heading off, trying to follow the trails up through the hills up to where the paragliders take off, so it must be quite high up.
What route is this one called?
Not got it yet, but we're looking for the happy trail to get us, take us up to get some elevation.
I'm glad we didn't do this 2 weeks earlier, as it was 35 degrees.
We've had to push uphill for 2 hours and it's pretty hot. Not as hot as 35 degrees, but it's probably about 21, 22. So we've got up to as far as we're going to go height-wise. This is where they do the hang gliding launch from. Overlooks the Pemberton Valley. Beautiful day.
Got to have a go at this parapenting business. So, wish me luck.
Sunday 2nd of September, and we've decided to go for a flatter ride today, and we've driven up the valley for probably half an hour, and we're parked up by some signs in the River Lillooet, and we're on a road which is summer use only that goes up to Lillooet, but we're just going to cycle up it for a little way. We're parked near some signs where there's a hot spring round here somewhere, but it said that they're closed on the internet due to aggressive bear activity. I think last year bears were chasing people and getting them to drop their rucksacks, and then they were tearing into the rucksacks to eat the food. Alternative route. That road was very, very dusty when cars flew past. It was also corrugated. It made the cycling quite difficult. So we've gone back to the car, gone over the bridge the other way. I'm going to turn right and go up this valley here. This road's a dead end. I can see an ice field at the very top. cycling for about 2 hours now, perhaps, following the River Lillooet, and we've just left the public road. We're on a forestry road, and we haven't seen a car for the last, maybe one or two over the last 2 hours. Now it's just, there's nobody about, and we filmed a lovely butterfly, but as we were doing that we heard some crashing in the bushes, and I don't think it was a cow, so we hastily carried on.
When we were driving back out of the valley, we suddenly saw this bush moving on its own, and suddenly a black bear poked its head out, gorging himself on the berries. The next morning we left Pemberton and drove to Williams Lake, going through Lillooet and 100 Mile House.
We're very lucky to be in such a beautiful place on September the 3rd, and we're driving from Pemberton to Williams Lake via Lillooet. Incredible scenery, and the road's really windy and it's quite an adventure, and just can't take enough photographs really. There aren't that many stops on this road. But the light quality this morning is fantastic too for photos. It's so atmospheric. It's the 4th of September and we're driving from Williams Lake to Bella Coola, and it's 455 kilometres drive. Just taken a slight detour down to Farewell Canyon, and we're standing on the top of the hill before descending into the canyon, and we've just been told by a chap at the information kiosk they're fishing down at the river, fishing for salmon. I think it's the native traditional way of fishing using nets.
Farewell Canyon is known to the Chilcotin First Nation people as the place of landslides, and the canyon is on the Chilcotin River between the confluence of the Big Creek and Fraser Rivers. Commercial logging trucks also use this road frequently. This location has been significant to the First Nations people for generations as an important salmon fishing site. Handheld nets are still used as the traditional way of fishing.
The strange rock shapes at Farewell Canyon are called hoodoos. These tall chimneys of rock have been formed by wind, rain and frost erosion. Hoodoos are made of very soft rock, capped by harder rocks, and the soft rocks are usually sedimentary rocks such as sandstones and mudstones.
The drive's going to take us about 6 hours, but that's not including stops, so it's a day job really. But it's a lovely day, and just getting warm. We set off, it was about 8 degrees. It's probably been freezing here overnight. It does feel cold, but you can feel the heat in the sun. We're at Bull Creek now, perhaps another 350 kilometres to go. Lovely weather, it's about 15-16 degrees, but bright sunshine. I'd like to stay here for a few hours, but we just haven't got time. We've got to go on, and maybe there'll be other places to stop and have a look at. 100 miles of the journey is on dirt track. It's a wide road, well graded, but you can't go fast on it.
On the way, we stopped off at Pelican Creek to see what the beavers had been up to.
We're just looking at beaver dams here, and this is one of the pieces that the beavers have gnawed off a tree some time ago, piled up here. But they've even dammed up the pipe under the road. We're standing by the side of the lake, and these trees that the beavers are cutting down and then they're felling them into the water, they're great big trees. Beaver sculpture. Just left the top. It's called the Heckman Pass. And this is the hill now, so we're descending down the hill into the Bella Coola Valley.
The hill, as it is locally called, is an epic 19-mile descent, complete with hairpin turns, switchbacks and gradients of up to 18%. And the total descent from Heckman Pass is 5,000 feet.
Getting down into the bottom of the Bella Coola Valley now, standing by the Atnarco River and looking across at a very big bird over there. I think it's a bald eagle pecking at something. We're only going to stay here for about another 10 minutes or so because it's still about a 40-minute drive.
Bella Coola Harbour serves as the grand entrance to the Great Bear Rainforest. The area is one of the most isolated in British Columbia and has the largest tract of unspoilt temperate rainforest in the world. Haunting seal noises can be heard beneath the boardwalks of the harbour, creating an eerie sound in the twilight.
September 6th, and we're walking the Salompt Forest Trail close to the Bella Coola River. We've got bear spray with us and keeping our eyes peeled, and we've got to keep talking and make sure that they know we're here if there's anybody about.
This is an ancient forest with massive Douglas fir, cedar and spruce trees intermingled with hemlock, cottonwood, alder and maple, and lots of lush temperate rainforest undergrowth. The Bella Coola River flows along the south side of the park, and the Salompt River by the bridge is a great place to see salmon spawning during August and September.
This is a Douglas fir, and according to the sign behind the tree, it's nearly 1,000 years old.
Sitka spruce, age 65. George, age 37.
This scar on this tree was made by the New Elk Nation a long time ago, years ago, when they harvested the bark, apparently to make clothes, textiles, and to use the bark for weaving. We've got the bear spray with us because it's there's huge salmon in here. 2 dead ones there slung over this branch. Seagulls down there. Animals are using this now as a crossing across the river.
The next morning we were up early to tackle Gur.
Well, we found the start of the Mount Gur trail, so we've parked up at the side of the road, turned round. There's a really steep bit here, tricky bit we had to negotiate just before we got to here, but it's all right now. And just about to set off. The flies are bad. It's absolutely so silent and still. There's a lovely little lake down here we've just been looking at. The dragonflies all sort of flying around the edge hunting.
About halfway there yet.
I know, that's even more than that. It's not that far to look at. British Columbian coastal mountains, just by Bella Coola. Unfortunately, we haven't got much of a clear view down because all the valleys are thick with smog caused by the thousands of acres of forest fire to the east, and it's blowing this way today, what bit of wind there is, and then settling down in the lower parts of the valley. Just make out the little boat going past down there. Well, we finished the walk and it was a fantastic walk, it was lovely, and it's cleared up steadily throughout the day now, so we've got better views than we had when we came up.
The person who we were staying with, John, took us on a forest walk to learn more about the grizzlies.
Yeah, so what's this then, John? What we've got here?
Yeah, that's just some bear scat that you can see they've been eating a lot of fish because it's very grey. You can see it's very grey, but it's also got pits in it from plums.
Oh,
so
yeah.
somewhere around the neighborhood, they've been eating some plums, and then our dog stepped right in it. So, but that's that's the grey. You can see the grey is from eating fish. You might even see fish bones. Yeah, you can smell the fish. This is a cow parsnip that they're digging up too.
Oh,
it's funny they didn't eat that because that's another root that they really like. It's another root they like to eat.
what does that smell of?
It smells a little Not
earthy.
Not the greatest. Yeah, it's not sweet like that, like the other one, but
We then spotted some grizzly bear hair.
stuck all over the fence.
You wouldn't think a grizzly could get through there.
They bend over. They bend over and kind of go underneath. You can see they've also loosened strands and pushed strands down by stepping on them, breaking them off the post.
So here's another thing that they like too, you guys. This is called sweet Sicily, and it doesn't look like much anymore. It's got these little black seeds that stick to your pants that they'll dig. They'll dig around.
A bit like our pig nut.
They'll find that root, and it's like a carrot. You'll smell it. It smells like carrot.
Yeah, it does.
It's a really sweet. That's another big delicacy, and they'll just dig up all kinds of ground that has this sweet Sicily in it. And yeah, some fields just look like they've been rotated.
What's it like when it's got foliage on it then?
It's yeah, there's just a few little leaves, and you can see the black seed right now. These things, they stick to your pants. They've got little barbs on them, so you're walking along, and all of a sudden you get all these little barbs stuck on your pants, and that's what spreads the plant, is the little seeds. But there's not much to the plant, but they really, really like the root.
They have a good healthy diet, don't they?
They do. They eat just about anything.
What's that?
Dug up a hornet's nest. They can smell the hornet's nest underneath the ground. You see the leftover honeycomb.
Oh yeah.
So there's a wasp's nest that that was in the ground that the bear could smell, and he dug it up, and he'd eat all the little grubs that were inside the honeycombs.
Huh.
Yeah. You can see some dead wasps laying in the bottom. So this is really fresh. This just happened in the last few days, probably, just before the rain.
I wonder if they attack the bear.
Oh, they would attack him for sure. They'd be stinging him in the eyes and the nose and the face. Yeah, you can see the dead yellow jackets.
So it's really fresh.
Actually, we're kind of lucky that he actually destroyed the whole nest and we didn't walk right in on a bunch of really upset yellow jackets. Yeah, that's cool.
Yellow jackets.
Yeah, you can see they're eating salmon, eating skunk cabbage, and eating yellow jackets, all within 40 meters of each, 30 meters of each other.
So what's this then?
So that'd be a bear bed where they've just dug up the ground when it's really hot out, and they'll dig it up so they can get down to the cool earth underneath. Especially when we had 35 to almost 40 degree temperatures here in August, so it's pretty hot for them with their big fur coat. So they can get down. You'll see lots of beds all over dug into the forest along the edge of the river. They've been digging the skunk cabbage root. This is what they're looking for, is the root of this skunk cabbage plant. You can even see in the past, maybe in the springtime, they dug out that hole and they never got all the root, so here comes some more of the root coming up. Find that everywhere here. See the holes all over the place. There was another root that they dug up in the spring. Just everywhere, all over here. Everywhere there's a skunk cabbage, you can see.
Is that one of their favourite foods then?
Absolutely. Yeah, they dug it up all over there. Yeah, when there's no fish around, they have to eat vegetation. Oh yeah, here they are. So there's an old chum salmon there. There's the head and the backbone.
How many different sorts of salmon are there?
There's five different species of Pacific salmon here in Bella Coola.
Oh.
Yeah, and there's some more jawbones of a big old chum salmon that they call dog salmon because of the teeth. Really big teeth on them. But everything's been eaten except the teeth and the jawbone from the bear.
Oh, it's not a delicacy for them then?
No, that's right. And they'll leave, a lot of times they'll leave this. They'll leave the operculum. There's nothing in it but just cartilage. And a lot of times they'll leave the milk, the sperm sacs from the male too. They don't seem to like those either. But you can see there's little maggots crawling on there. The maggots have pretty well eaten all the meat down. So that's nature at its finest there.
What are the 5 types of salmon?
So there's chum here, and there's pink salmon, which are the small brown ones. We get Chinook salmon earlier, and then sockeye salmon and coho salmon that are starting to spawn now, sort of in September, October through December, January.
Oh.
Yeah. And you can see lots of little juvenile coho. It's kind of raining right now, so you can't really see them too well. But
I think we did see some in the river.
Coho salmon everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, it's really neat to see that many salmon.
Will they come up the river then here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Later on in the year?
That's right. The coho come up here probably in November, December and spawn. So these little ones that are swimming around are the offspring of those ones last year.
There's another fairly fresh bear scat with a big bear track in it.
Oh, that's whereabouts is the paw?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that way. Oh,
yeah, there's the paw and there's the toes.
Is that the rear foot without the
that's a front foot. Front foot. Yep. The rear foot's shaped more like a human foot. It has more of a heel to it.
Just retrieving the bear cam. Do you think we'll have a shot, John?
There it is. Hopefully there's something on it.
And there certainly was something on it, a mule deer and several grizzlies.
Today's walk has a geological theme. We're doing the Kettle Pond walk and we're at the trailhead by the parking lot. And this is a glacial erratic left by the last ice age when the ice finally melted and retreated around 12,000 years ago. The actual rock split in two only a few years ago really, they say in the 1990s according to the literature. So this is the Kettle Pond trailhead and the walk starts across the road. Again, it's a geological feature. This valley is made up of a lot of glacial moraine which was dumped there when the ice sheets retreated. I think it's a glacial moraine left at the snout of the ice sheet. And the Kettle Pond is formed when a big lump of ice is left in the moraine and melts out, and the hole left by the ice forms the pond. This looks like some of the moraine covered in moss. You know, you can imagine the ice being here, can't you? Imagine how big the pieces are, the boulders. The moss seems to creep over everything in this forest. I'm just wondering how long it takes to cover things like logs, like this here. We're just trying to think about how this kettle hole formed in a bit more detail. What we probably think is that at the end of the ice age the ground was frozen solid permafrost. And then when the temperature rose, the big area of glacial moraine contained big chunks of ice mixed into the moraine. And as the temperatures rose and the land started to rise above freezing point, the ice that was trapped in the glacial moraine melted out as well. And then the moraine collapsed in and formed this depression which is called Kettle Pond.
How far's the walk?
2 kilometres, 500 metre climb up to the Medby Rock Outlook, or Lookout, where a famous artist, local artist in the 1920s used to go to paint the view. Down towards Bella Coola, or it would be if it was clear. just very misty, keeps spotting with rain. What a place to come for a Sunday afternoon walk. We're on Walker Park Island, walking through the big cedars, and it's something like a film set really. It's like being on something like Jurassic Park. These trees are just huge and they're all covered in lichen and mosses. It's dripping because there's been a few showers. It's early morning on Sunday, and today we're doing a river drift, and we're going to leave here by the bear viewing platform and drift downstream and hopefully get lots of good photographs and film of bears.
Okay, so as far as bears concerned, we're going to be very gentle, and it's all about good manners. They're very bright, very emotional, and we're going to treat them as something, well, we're going to treat them as they are, equally as powerful and awesome as we are, and give them the respect we're due. We're not going to chase them. If we see a bear, we're going to put down anchor 100 meters upriver and allow the bear to decide what it would like to do, right? I know you'd like to get your pictures, and hopefully we shall get some images. There may, though, be a time when the bear decides to come closer to us, and I will be possibly making a judgment call that we stop taking pictures, because the lens is like staring, can be aggression, the light can reflect off the lens, and the shutter speed is obviously an unnatural sound, and the energy of taking the shot with the excitement of being in close proximity. Sometimes, as I said, it's always a judgment call, and I don't ask you to stop.
Down by the river, by the boat, where everybody goes to be alone, where you won't see any rising sun. Down to the river we will run. Down by the water we drink to the dregs. Look at the stones on the riverbed. I can tell from your eyes you never been by the riverside. Down by the water, the riverbed, somebody calls you, somebody says, swim with the current and float away. Down by the river every day. Oh my God, I see how everything is torn in the river deep, and I don't know why I go the way down by the riverside. When that old river runs past your eyes to wash out the dirt on the riverside, go to the water so very near, the river will be your eyes and ears. I'll walk to the borders on my own, fall in the water just like a stone, chill to the marrow in them bones. Why do I go here all alone? Oh my God, I see see how everything is drawn in the river deep, and I don't know why I go the way down by the riverside.
Today we're walking the Burnt Bridge Trail, which is a tiny part of a really long distance trail that goes all the way across Canada, and it's part of the Alexander Mackenzie Heritage Trail. This trail was when Alexander Mackenzie first walked across the continent of North America. Just going to do a slight detour to look at the outlook of the valley view. We're just doing a short walk after we've been to the Bella Coola viewing platform and seen one grizzly bear hunting and catching salmon as he swam down the river with his head under the water. It's so foggy this afternoon and cloudy. That's because of the wildfires. It's cutting the sunlight out altogether and you can smell it in the air. So I hope it doesn't affect us as we're walking uphill. I think this trail's a very old trail, part of the network of trails that the traders used 100, 200 years ago to carry the goods out of the area, because this path links into other paths on the Rainbow Range and you can walk for days hiking across the mountains from here. But we're just doing a little short bit from the road up to the first lookout, and it's a lovely gradient. It's a lovely walk.
Do you think this is the lookout?
Yes, I think it's the lookout. We overshot it. Well, we've finished our remarkable and fantastic week at Bella Coola and can't wait to come back. Where we stayed, the people were absolutely lovely and everybody's been so friendly, and it's been a brilliant week and we've seen so many bears. The weather's been mixed, but we've had days like this as well, and we're sad to leave really. So we're heading out now, heading up the valley. We're going to go up the Hetman Pass and then all across the Chillicothe Plateau to Williams Lake, stay there tonight and then head on to Squamish tomorrow. Well, we're almost up the Hetman Pass now. We're still climbing steadily and we're getting towards the top. It won't be long now.